Hello everyone, it's Smitha. I am glamsmitty on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, and I thought today would be kind of a fun video. As you all know, Clionadh is coming out with a new palette, which is launching on Tuesday. I'm supposed to get my palette tomorrow. It was delayed a little bit. Originally it was supposed to be Friday. But anyway, I'm still going to try to get a video up before the launch, or at least some type of content. But I thought that this would also be a fun time to talk about stained glass, the stained glass collection, because they are going to be doing a restock of the stained glass shadows as well. And the premise that I had for this video was inspired by really the bundle that got me into the brand, which was the one that Angelica has. It's basically like Angelica's top 10 bundle. And I guess I watched her YouTube video on that, and basically like my takeaway from her video was, or her bundle was, like, if you were basically new to Clionadh, that would be a great kind of starters bundle. So I'm considering this like an imaginary glamsmitty starters bundle with only 10 shadows. So a little different than a top 10, more like, you know, if you were new to the brand, or you know, you don't have a lot of the stained glass shadows and you kind of want to know where to start, or have some shadows that give you kind of a good variety of a lot of different shades, and shadows that I really love, and I think give you a very good introduction to Clionadh. So anyway, hopefully even if you have a Clionadh collection, or small or large, this will be fun to watch. By the way, I'm still figuring out my sound. I'm definitely a rookie when it comes to making YouTube videos, so bear with me. Thank you so much for being here and for your feedback. And also, I do have a code with Clionadh. It is glamsmitty, just my username, and you can use that on the new launch as well as the older, any of the stained glass shadows as well. So in case you are going to make a purchase, you can use that code for an extra percentage off. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. The first shadow that I picked is a black-based multi-chrome. This was not my first black-based multi-chrome from Clionadh. I believe it was Patina, which is in Angelica's bundle, but this is Smolder. And mine has definitely been loved on, and been used quite a bit and swatched quite a bit. But this is kind of like what I would consider sort of a violet with kind of like a reddish violet with sort of greenish shifts in it. And I have seen shadows like this from other brands. I don't have really a lot of, I don't think I have a dupe for this shadow in my own collection, but I know that other brands do have shades like this, but I just absolutely love it. Like, I feel like you actually get such a strong shift with it, and it's almost like at certain angles it could do most of the rainbow. I love the texture of these black-based multi-chromes. They're so smooth. I know that Clionadh was one of the first to do black-based multi-chromes, which is also pretty cool, and they have really withstood the test of time. So there is Smolder. And I do have a mixture of like newer and older shadows that I'm gonna be talking about today, like from the original stained glass collection to the more recent one. The second shadow is Luxe, and I want to say this was one of the first iridescent shadows that I tried from Clionadh, and definitely like don't have really, and again, many like this or any like this, just I do have, like, I know that there are shadows from, again, other brands that are like this, but the texture on this one is so unique and it makes it like it's softer, so you pick up quite a bit and you get such an intense payoff with it. It has this kind of, you see like green, maybe you see some blue, some yellow, but it is so intense. And when I want an inner corner highlight or a cheek highlight that really really pops and you can see from space, it's this one. So I have tried many of the other shadows, iridescent shadows from Clionadh, but I think this remains my favorite, if I'm honest. Okay, so that is Luxe. Have a couple more of older, or sort of original stained glass line shadows. Next we have Bloodline, and this was actually recommended to me from other creators who told me that this was their favorite, kind of like favorite shadow of all time, which I was like, okay, I need to try this. I would say it has sort of like, it's again really shifty, but it's got like kind of a pinky base to it with a really intense kind of like green and yellow shift. I do find that, like, you know, in terms of like what a lot of people, I guess, consider neutral or wearable, like a lot of people, I'm a color lover. I'm a neutrals and a color level, but I am not afraid of color. I do find that this shadow appeals to a lot of different people, both neutral lovers and color lovers. I feel like there's a lot going on, but like for people when they're considering what is wearable, I think this fits the bill for a lot of different people. So that is Bloodline. And by the way, this is considered a vibrant multi-chrome. Smolder was a black-based multi-chrome. Luxe is a Series 2 iridescent multi-chrome. And then next I have Regal. And Regal is also from the original stained glass line. This is considered a vibrant glitter multi-chrome. And when I first swatched this, I was just like, holy moly. Like, this is such an ethereal purple shadow. And my little one just woke up from her nap. So anyway, yeah, my husband is going to be getting her until the end of this video. But this is Regal, and again, like just a shadow. I feel like, you know, anyone who's either new or old to Clionadh should experience, but especially like if you're new to Clionadh and you want like what I consider to be like one of the most special kind of like blue purple multi-chrome shadows, it's this. I've seen some absolutely breathtaking looks with this as a single shadow. I usually like keep it pretty simple when I use this in my looks as well. It's just, there's so much going on. It's almost like you need to give this multi-chrome some room to breathe and some like space to shine. So hopefully you can get a good view of that. And then Let me see if all the other remaining shadows are new versus old. I think I have got one more that's like considered from the original stained glass line. Actually, I don't know. I think this might be a newer one, but I'm not 100% sure. It's newer to me, so I always forget. But this is called Smolder. And Smolder is a super interesting kind of grungy shadow. It's called a dimensional multichrome. I think they might have a few in that kind of line or category of multichromes. I don't even know how to describe it. I'm seeing like red, kind of like a little bit of purple, a little bit of green base. Trying to find room to swatch it. I think I'm going to swatch it here. But I feel like this is perfect for like a grungy shadow lover. It's like, it's wearable. Again, like the definition of wearable is super subjective, but I think that this shadow is super unique, and again, not one that I really have a dupe of in my collection. So I've been really drawn to that recently. I've used it in a lot of looks and custom palettes. So that is Smolder. Okay. And then I believe, actually, yeah, I think the remaining 5 shadows are from the stained glass extension. So the first one I'm going to talk about is called Adornment. And Adornment is a glitter multichrome, I believe. Let's double check on that. It is yes, glitter multichrome. And I think the shadows work super well, both as an all over the lid shade, a topper shade, an inner corner highlight. It is so versatile. So that's why I included it in this list. Another shadow I just think is super unique to Clionadh. I don't have one like it. And what I would consider an essential to someone that's, you know, trying Clionadh. And I'm seeing like, you know, I think it's kind of a pinkish in its base, but its shift is so strong that you almost lose the base, but you've got like a kind of greenish yellow shift. It shears out really well if you wear a thin layer of it, or can be very intense, packed all over the lid. Next we have Embellishment, and I had to throw a gold in here. I am a gold shadow lover. I know it's polarizing, but I love just how bright this is. This is, I think, a glitter type. Yes, glitter type multichrome. And there it is swatched out. So you get a bit more texture with these glitter multichromes, but really nothing crazy, just something to be aware of when you think of fallout. For all of these shadows, I would wear them with some type of tacky base to kind of get max payoff and avoid fallout. But I think in terms of like golds that are unique to Clionadh, I definitely think Embellishment is one of my top picks. I was between this and Ochre, because I really like Ochre as well. Ochre's from the original stained glass line. Okay, and then my next is Renaissance. This is a pearlescent multichrome shadow. I think the pearlescent shadows were new to the stained glass extension line, but these are, you know, these are super smooth. And at first I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about the pearlescent shadows. I thought they were going to be maybe a little too wearable or too kind of like, I guess, like not intense enough for me, but just not the case. All of these have a super intense shift to them. And I have to say, like, the pearlescent multi-chromes were probably my biggest happy surprise from the Clionadh stained glass extension. So I wasn't sure what to expect, but I think that these, a lot of different people will get on with these. But so I really don't think, you know, you could go wrong with any, but for some reason, like, Renaissance is the one of the 4 pearlescents that I always think of. So, but again, I think just if you're new to trying Clionadh, trying a pearlescent multi-chrome would be great, and I think a lot of people would get on with them. Next, of course, I had to include Mural. Mural has sold out multiple times. It's one of the new multi-chromes from the electric line, new to the stained glass extension. And this one is sort of like a light green in its base. It's got a really intense kind of reddish gold shift, but I don't even know, like, it is just insane. I love it. And all of the electric multi-chromes are super smooth. So although they have a really intense shift, I would say, like, in texture, they are very smooth. So there is Mural. I think Mural is probably in a lot of people's, like, top 10. And then the last one, I was really between 2 shades. So I picked Hilt. I was really between Hilt and Tessara, but I ended up going with Hilt. I just love kind of periwinkle shades like this. It reminds me of Ceres from Terra Moons, which is also one of my all-time favorite shadows, but the ultimate fairy-esque shadow right here. It's got a really, really intense, like, pink, yellow, green shift. And there it is, swatched. All right, and so that is it for my kind of like top 10 starter singles from the Clionadh stained glass new original line and the stained glass extension line. I would love to hear what you think of this type of video. I've been thinking about, like, making this for some of my other kind of favorite indie eyeshadow brands, or ones at least that I have, you know, a decently sized collection from. And I'd also love to hear if we have any shades in common. So anyway, thanks for joining, and hopefully I'll be back soon, like within the next day or day and a half or so, with some swatches and prelim thoughts on the Deep Sea Treasures palette that's launching from Clionadh. But hope everyone has a good rest of the weekend, and happy Mother's Day. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.